Welcome back to another episode of Nightly Vibes. Today was very crazy. After having the worst day so far in the year yesterday, today was just absolute madness. The morning started off pretty rough, and then we started rallying actually to get green at one point in the overall markets, and then towards the end of the day, we saw a drastic sell-off into the close, and there was a lot of tariff news. You can see that the Dow tumbled about 670 points. The Nasdaq dipped more than 2% at its lowest point and came within striking distance of correction territory. So President Donald Trump has this new 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico, which officially took effect today, with China hit by an additional 10% duty. However, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said on Fox Business this Tuesday afternoon that the U.S. might meet Canada and Mexico somewhere in the middle to work something out, and we saw a bounce after hours. With that, the thing that we have emphasized over and over again is that Trump introduces uncertainty. We are now at a point where a single tweet or a single release of information can significantly change the interpretation of what markets look like. From just looking at the markets from the last few years, this is just really the first time where social media posts are so aggressively moving the market. It's very shocking. And obviously, it's not just a social media post. These are actual political actions taking place that do affect the world's economy. So this whole entire trade war, tariff, and all of these different economic arguments taking place. And you also throw in the escalations with Ukraine after the meeting in the White House. Like, there's just a lot going on, and we are seeing a very wild market. So going into tomorrow, we have the ADP private payrolls report, as well as the purchasing managers index. Let's lighten things up really quickly. Some news from ChatGPT today. IHOP had a pancake frenzy. Today was National Pancake Day. And a guy in IHOP in Texas tried to smuggle 37 pancakes out in his hoodie. And apparently the syrup fell everywhere, which was very interesting. Apart from that, a kangaroo hijacked a festival today, busted through security, leaped onto the stage, and actually hit a perfect spin before bouncing into the crowd. I don't know how accurate that is, but ChatGPT says that happened today. The Northern Lights also appeared in Florida, and one guy in Tampa ran outside screaming that aliens were arriving. Another dude proposed to his girlfriend in the Walmart parking lot because this was a sign from the universe. Very, very interesting day, to say the least. But looking at the markets today, the technology sector was the hottest. We did see some outperformance in some higher beta names. The top stock on TradyTick's website, by the way, for performance here was MSTR, with the worst one being KKR. You could see the heat map right here, and you could see the biggest gainers and losers here as well. Looking into the SPY specifically, the 583 calls expiring on March 5th. Today's the 4th, so for tomorrow, we're the most dominant contract today with about 14.65 million in premiums. Here is the daily premium and the weekly premiums heat map. And then you can also see some of these premiums really starting to increase. And then also the daily open interest on puts heavily increasing throughout the past couple of weeks. So going into tomorrow for earnings, sorted by market cap, we have MRVL, JD, MDB, CPB, and a few others. And let's take a quick look at X before we head over to the VibeBot scans from today. This is breaking news. The IRS is drafting plans to cut as much as half of its 90,000 person workforce. Thinking about everything that's been going on with the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, it's so crazy that's named Doge, but this is pretty interesting. You can see that JetBlue and Nintendo just unveiled a custom plane, a little bit of a partnership there. Google urges Trump DOJ to reverse the course on breaking up the company. If anyone else lives in New York City, they're going to be widening the 6th Avenue bike lanes, cutting vehicle traffic to one lane, and inviting more congestion, all of these different fees and stuff for certain zones of the city. I mean, a lot of different things happening. But and then finally, the Prime Minister of Canada said that Trump wants to destroy the Canadian economy and annex Canada. So a lot of different things going on. Let's see what VibeBot has to think. It's still holding that red signal, as you can see. Today we did test pretty much the 200-day moving average. If we go down to the 5-minute chart, you can see that we kind of double bottomed and bounced off of that, and then we rallied up until about 3:25 Eastern time before selling off into the close. VibeBot did print a red signal pretty much on that first large red candle on the 5-minute chart. If we go over to the 15-minute, it was very simple. I mean, it held this red signal from yesterday, flipped to a green signal around 11:30 this morning, and then at the end of the day flipped to a red signal. On the NASDAQ, you did close slightly below the 200-day moving average. Let's quickly turn on some more of these VibeBot features. If you want to get VibeBot for yourself, the link is in the description. And we can zoom out a little bit here, and you can see, let me clear up my own drawings here. You know, zooming out on this chart, we can see a couple other levels. We see this high put in from August of last year, which matches these lows from October. That was somewhat your low of the day today, but you did break a lot of these gap zones. I'm not seeing many gap zones beneath. The next major level VibeBot is charting out is this low from August of last year down at 15,718. If that hypothetically did happen from the highs, that would be a 20% decline. I mean, we are currently about halfway down to that support level, but there definitely is a lot more space until then. The Russell 2000 closed a little bit lower here as well. It is testing, I think this is the level we spoke about last night on the video from September 11th of last year. You pretty much bounced off of that level today. The Hang Seng Index had a relatively flat day. We did talk about how it printed this green signal at the beginning of January. And then finally, Bitcoin over here, still holding that green on the daily. On the 4-hour chart, there was a flip to a green signal, as you can see over here. And then on the 1-hour chart, you can see that it also flipped to a green signal around 11 o'clock today. So finally, let's also take a look at the VIX. Let's go over to the daily chart. It's been holding a green signal since the bottom around 15 that it was holding from the end of last year into the beginning of this year. And it's charting the next resistance as this candle high from December of last year. Zooming out over here, you can see that the VIX is really traded between these two levels for quite some time now. So it's testing a break above these highs from pretty much all of last year. So that is the quick nightly vibes update for all of you. Hope you enjoyed these videos. More of them coming soon. Have a great rest of your evening.